because if he had, we still would not have this product in the marketplace today, and we might never have it. So having this available as and I hate to even call it a nutritional supplement because that gets people confused. It is not a nutritional supplement. It is a redox signaling supplement. It has no nutritional value whatsoever. No vitamins, no minerals. I'll talk later about our products that do. But this is a totally different technology that alters people's lives in ways that nothing else can do. So think of people who you can introduce this to, because what's going to convince you and get you to really understand the impact of this is not necessarily what happens to you personally, but what happens to those around you when you introduce them to this, because you will save their health. So I would like to demonstrate Renew 28 because if you're doing an in-home presentation and you want to kind of get people's attention, one of the quickest ways to do that is to apply Renew 28 3 times to a sore joint, muscle, or something, and then watch their eyes open up when they get almost instantaneous relief from that pain and that stiffness. So is there anybody here today that has a sore ankle, joint, neck, anything you can get to rub some Renew on so that we can see if you have an experience in the next 5 or 10 minutes? Any volunteers?
My neck's bugging me.
Hmm?
My neck's bugging me.
Well, here.
Hotel bed.
Rub a little Renew on that.
I know. I put some on my face this morning, but
You forgot to put it on the part that was hurting.
You know, the best way to do when you do your face every morning, I do my face,
yeah.
front of my neck,
Right.
back of my neck, and shoulder.
Oh, okay.
And then the lymph nodes.
Yeah. Yeah, I do that as an aftershave and rub it all over there too. Anybody else has got something that
Would you
hurts?
mind coming up front, and would you demonstrate that up front?
Yeah.
Would you come up front
Yeah.
and make sure you can see
Come on
that?
up and put that on your neck, and then we're gonna, here you
Would you
go,
show
I'll
him
put a
where to
little
put it?
dab on your hand. You got some already, we'll give you a lot more.
Best place to put it is the
There you
place
go.
that you think it needs to go.
Yep, rub it in really good.
Free Renew.
Okay. Okay, so you got the first time. Anybody else, any other volunteers? Come on, it's gonna make you feel good. We got a bunch of ASEA people here, so they're already feeling really good.
Right.
It's always possible
True
to feel
statement.
better. But go ahead and do the second one. And we'll get
She
somebody
wants to
else.
put someone too.
All right. A little dab will do you.
Sure.
That's number 1. There you go.
Thank you.
And Marcia, while we're doing this, maybe you could, you know, the interesting thing is we just saw 3 incredible stories in 3 people who had lost their health in various ways. But this product is not only for the sickest of the sick, it's also for the healthiest of the healthy. Marcia's a triathlete, and I'd just like her to share what ASEA has done for her in a very healthy person.
When we started with ASEA, I thought I was really healthy. We worked with a wellness company for about 20 years, and I figured life just had to go on, and this was the level of health that I had, which was good. But it was not didn't take me to some of the extremes that I've been able to now with ASEA. With using ASEA now for 7 years, I've gone from the point where I could participate in a very low-level triathlon and keep myself fit by having that incentive to get out the door every day. But through the use of ASEA, I've been able to go to a higher level of participation, a longer race. I'm racing up to 3 hours now. And I'm able to do it at a level of competition that's getting me on the podium, often first in my age group. Woo. And
Wow.
that has to do with ASEA. Without that, it wouldn't be happening. Before ASEA, I could maybe run 2-3 miles to just finish the end of a sprint triathlon, and now I can go up. I've gone up to 10 miles, but can complete a 3-hour Olympic triathlon and get first in my age group. So ASEA has just changed my life. It's taken me from my kids singing along, riding their bikes next to me on the run of a triathlon to being able to go out and enjoy it and do it well. So I'm really grateful for what I'm able to do and complete with ASEA. It wouldn't happen otherwise.
Thank you. You know, I've never heard anybody refer to a low-level triathlon.
Yes.
Because to me, any level of triathlon requires a lot of work, a lot of training.
Yes.
And I admire people that can do that. I trained for several times and always came up with an injury and never was able to do one before ASEA. But the interesting thing is, I'm a very active guy. I love to climb mountains. I don't do that anymore, but I love to ski like Danielle loves to snowboard. I ended up having to have total knee replacement and using a lot of Renew 28 and a lot of ASEA. 3 months later, I was back skiing. My orthopedic doctor thought that was a little bit crazy, but my knee was fine. It didn't hurt. It was working just like the normal one did without the pain, and I was able to ski. And I think that's almost a record time to be able to get back to doing something you enjoy, thanks to these molecules. So guys, what did you notice with Renew? How's that neck doing?
It's definitely dissipating. There's no question about it.
So the pain's lessening?
Yeah.
You were moving it around pretty good. Were you able to do that before, or was it kind of guarded before?
It was guarded,
Okay.
stiffness. Yeah.
So now in the morning, you're gonna put this not just on your face, but on your neck, right?
I'm gonna do what Marcia suggests. My method is, when I wash my face or shave or whatever, I spray with Redox, and then I put on the palm of my hand, it helps spread it around evenly better.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
What did you notice?
Well, I use the Renew constantly. I carry it with me. I've been battling very aggressive autoimmune for a number of years. In fact, I felt like I was drowning in my own blood. So when I use the Renew, and I use it often on my carotid arteries, it just seems to help everywhere. I'm clear-headed, I have energy. I feel like I'm aging backwards, absolutely. I feel so healthy. But doing this also tightens up my neck.
Mhm.
I'm 63, so you know that makes the difference too. But just lack of pain. And every time I use the Renew, I just feel a burst of energy. So yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. Wouldn't be without it.
Great, wonderful, thank you. Anybody else want to try it? Going once, twice, 3 times? Nancy?
I want to say, I didn't tell you the end of the story. So I've been drinking ASEA it'll be 7 years next month. And within the first 2.5 weeks, I sorted 600 pounds of alpaca fiber that had been sitting in my garage for years. And you have to sort it according to fineness, staple length, color. I boxed it up and I sold it on the world market. And I also stripped all the logs on the inside of our log home, which is 5,700 square feet, and got them ready to be sealed. And 6 months later, I had no pain and no stiffness. So that's what ASEA, it has changed my life, like everyone else is talking about. I am literally a different person, a better person, a younger person. So that's what it did for me.
Wonderful, thank you very much for sharing that. Yes, it's been, I think it was, Leland that said, after using this for a couple of years, that positive things keep changing, and that's the way this product works. It keeps helping your body to heal more and more and more cells. It is as close to the fountain of youth that we have ever come. And I've had some nagging health problems over the years that I just figured I would live with. I would control it with medication, and that was just the way life was. And then about 4 years into being on ASEA, I was noticing that when I'd sit up or stand up, quickly I'd get lightheaded. And one day I had to grab onto the couch because I almost passed out, so I went and got my blood pressure cuff and checked it. And my blood pressure was like 80/40, which for somebody in their late 60s is really too low. And all of a sudden I realized that because of ASEA, I didn't need all of those 4 different antihypertensive medicines that I'd been on.
Wow.
So over the next couple of weeks, I just started backing off on those. And now, due to a healthy lifestyle and all the other things that we do, and drinking 8 ounces of ASEA a day, things like that just tend to resolve and go away. ASEA doesn't cure, heal, or treat anything. What it does is gives our body a very incredible tool to use so that it can do its job in detecting problems, orchestrating the repairs that need to take place by accessing the information in our DNA, and it does in our bodies. Many people just have lost the appreciation for what their bodies can do, And they can do much, much more to restore your health when you give it everything that's necessary for your body to perform those functions. And it can do incredible things. So I'd like to show you how you can get some of this wonderful stuff because it's very simple. Marcia's gonna pop a couple of PowerPoint slides up here. So, how many people like to pay retail? I don't see any hands going up. Occasionally, people do, and that's certainly available. All you have to do is approach an authorized representative, the person who invited you to this presentation, and they'll take care of you. But there's even a better way, and you can get wholesale pricing and tap into the company's very generous loyalty rewards program that can give you up to 20% back on points that you can turn in for new products, as long as you're on our very systematic auto ship program. You know, it's important once you start on ASEA, if you're gonna give this a trial, give it a 3 to 4 month trial. Don't give it a 1 week or a 1 month trial, because you're actually helping your body to repair cells, and that takes some time. So give it some time to work. And the best way to do that is to get on the auto ship program, where ASEA is never going to forget to send you your next month's box of drink and your next month's tube of Renew. And you might forget. I know if it was up to me to remember to order this once a month, I would probably not always remember on time. ASEA can take care of that for you. And the next option is to become an associate. What becoming an associate means is that now, as you're thinking of people who you could help to facilitate their miracles, you can actually introduce it to them, and ASEA is going to say, thank you for being our mouthpiece. This is referral marketing, this is word of mouth marketing. Thank you for reaching out to somebody who you cared about enough and offered them this. And since they ordered product, you get a little bit of reward, and that's our business model. Our business model is not complex. It's offering something, some information to somebody that can improve their health, answering their questions, and then making it available through your business, through your small business. So it's very simple, and by doing that over time, you create what we call residual income. It's a kind of income I never had as a physician. You know, as a physician, I was a highly paid hourly employee of the hospital. And if I wasn't in the hospital, which meant I wasn't home, I wasn't doing stuff that was fun, I wasn't exercising to improve my health, I was in the hospital. If I wasn't there treating patients, I didn't get paid. And I certainly didn't get paid over and over and over again for the same delivery of healthcare. That would be fraud. But in this business, we develop residual income because people order this product, stay on it for years, and every time you get a case of ASEA, somebody gets a thank you check from ASEA, and that's a very fair and very elegant business model. So I would urge you, if you're interested, to get back to the person who invited you here, or whoever invited you to this online presentation, and get your questions answered. And then the most important thing, this is knowledge, but knowledge without action, in many cases, is what I consider a big waste of time. And you've been given some information here, some possibilities for your future, for your health, perhaps for your lifestyle and financial freedom. But unless you do something with that information, it won't help. And so act on it, make a decision, get involved. This is a team sport, and there's plenty of help out there for people to show you and to help you introduce this and build a business by helping others to regain their health. So thank you very much, and if you have any questions, we'll answer them later on, because we've got a program to continue with here.
All right.
Oh yeah, I didn't go
Thanks.
through the
Okay.
next one, yeah. If you're interested in packs, we'll talk about that later. So the next on the program, I think, is me and nutrition.
Yes.
Okay, so just get on here. Yeah, just need to get it. Okay,
hear what I was saying, when he was putting it on his neck on your gel and the recommended way to put it on. One thing I was saying is that every morning what I do and what I recommend to people is that you take your Renew, you put it on your face, you put it on your front, on your arteries there, put it on the back of your neck on your arteries, that's the fastest way to get it into your brain. And then also put it in the lymph nodes in your armpits. Also helps as a deodorant. So it'll help you in both those ways. But that's just a basic morning routine I do. And then of course I put it everywhere else too, but because I love Renew and I love what it does for me. But those basic ways you want to make sure you cover every day.
So, quick question for you, Marcia.
Oh, okay. Pardon?
So how do you consume the Redox when you're getting ready for an event? Well, whatever, running, whatever you're
yeah.
gonna do, whether it's an event or you're just
Well,
gonna
my
go.
daily is I take, because I'm working out quite a bit, I take at least 6 ounces in the morning, I take 6 ounces at night,
Okay.
because the recovery then is so incredible for the next day. But if I have a really hard workout, I'll take another couple ounces afterwards, or maybe I'll take 4 in the morning and 4 afterwards to break it up a little bit. If I have a race, what do we do before a race? Is I'll take my morning before I leave, because you usually leave home quite early beforehand, you're up, 3 hours before or so. I'll take my morning, and then I'll take a pouch with me, and I'll take another 4 ounces right before the race.
Okay.
I'll cover everything in Renew before I put on my wetsuit to give me every advantage I can. Then when I come in from transition after the swim, I'll because you're going to bike or swim, bike, right? Before the bike, I'll take a quick swig of ASEA out of my pouch there, and then I'll hit the bike. When I come off the bike, I usually take another little swig, and then I just take a glop of Renew in my palm of my hand, and as I'm running out of transition, because you can save up a lot of time if you have a fast transition, I don't take time to stop, but I just take a big glop. I put it on my front of my legs, the back of my legs, and my low back as I'm leaving for the run, and then I have some also ASEA ready for after the race.
All right.
So I'm very generous on race day.
Sounds
And
good.
it makes the transition so much easier as you're changing from one group of muscles to another group of muscles. It's really changed, because it used to be when I would start my run, I'd have to do, some stretching. So, I would feel like, oh, this is torture changing into a run. And now that I put the Renew on, changing from bike to run is just a breeze.
Both of my sons are really athletic and work out a lot, so I'm trying to get them to drink it before 6 ounces or whatever before they go into their workout and
Yeah.
see how that's gonna affect them.
Yeah.
So,
The big thing is they'll notice first, maybe is, they might notice in the workout first, but they might just think, oh, it's a good day, but it's the recovery afterwards. The next day when they're not sore and they get out of bed and they're not sore and achy, they're gonna go, whoa. So using that Renew afterwards, after a workout, and getting the
yeah, my
ASEA into
oldest
that.
son, first thing he told me after he was a little skeptical after drinking it for about a week or so, he's waking up at 3:30, 3:45 in the morning, he felt like he slept all night. And
Yeah.
that's exactly what happened to me. It's
Yeah.
like I thought it was like 6 o'clock, and I go, what, 3:30?
Ready to.
Now what am I gonna do?
Ready to go again, huh?
Yeah, my youngest son, who's 24, other than cutting his fingers in a table saw, and that kind of made him a believer. But athletically, his first belief came with Renew when he would come home from a hard workout and his shoulders and back would be stiff, and he'd have me put Renew on it, and he just couldn't believe the change.
So Marcia, could you pop the Omega
Yeah.
video on?
I can't.
I'll get you plugged back in there. So we're gonna watch, so we're starting the training part of this, and one of the things we're gonna do for the rest of the morning is to introduce you to tools, new tools from ASEA that are really good. So we're gonna introduce you to new tools from ASEA that you can use, and they're all in your back office. They're all readily available, so if you're sitting down with somebody, you can just sit, and you're talking about nutritionals and you're talking about omega-3s, you can just pop this short, I think it's less than 3-minute video in, and let the video introduce the product that you're talking to them about. And ASEA has spent a lot of money on these new tools, so we're gonna watch this one, and then I'll talk a bit more about nutrition via and omega-3.
We all have a purpose, reasons to take care of our health so that we can thrive. For some, it might be about spending
It's okay, it's actually better.
time with the people we love. For others, it might be about reaching a new personal best. And for some, a purpose is about staying as young and as vibrant as long as possible. In our modern world, millions of people are dealing with health conditions, and it can be really tough to know what to do to ensure that we stay healthy and strong. Long-term health is dependent on proper nutrition. But even the best diet may not be giving your body everything it needs to stay healthy. Supplements are a great way to fill in the gaps to ensure your body's getting everything it needs. A daily health supplement like those ASEA offers is a good start down the pathway for better overall wellness.
ASEA, in my opinion, stands above any nutritional supplements that I know of.
The research shows that we need more micronutrients than are present in most of our food sources.
So even when we do organic and we do real food, not the fake food that's in boxes and cans, but real food has a lot less nutrients than they had 30, 50 years ago.
The ASEA line are the most brilliantly constructed, conscious nutrient formulas I've ever used in 33 years of practice.
When your diet just isn't cutting it, ViaSource can help fill in those nutrient gaps. ViaSource is a whole food micronutrient complex that's different than other supplements because it contains whole food nutrition to help your body thrive. With Via Life Max, you have an active lifestyle and vitality formula that helps keep you strong as you age, and it has antioxidants. Antioxidants are important to keep your cells healthy and to prevent them from damage. ViaBiome is an expertly formulated probiotic. It's made up of 16 different strains of probiotics and prebiotics, which makes it a vital aid to nourishing your gut health. Gut health is so important because it's really the hub of your body. It's important for your immune system, it's important for brain health, as well as your digestive system. Boosting your omega-3 fatty acids as part of a proactive plan can help reduce your risk of heart disease and high blood pressure. Via Omega can help keep those risk factors in check.
You know, the way I think about the Via line is not unlike a piano. I mean, I can play an individual key on an 88-key piano on any day, but it's chords. It's the combination of different things and supplements that actually make the sound come out and resonate. It creates the melody. I think we're very similar. Our body's ability to interpret what we introduce into it, whether that be good or bad, is way more delicate and way more sophisticated than I think we give credit for. And so the idea of introducing the right combinations of the right nutrients and nutrition married with a signaling uplift by virtue of our ASEA Redox supplement, it's the coupling of those things that I think starts to play chords in the body that respond very differently to the needs of each person.
Our goal as an organization was to provide the highest quality nutritional products to the marketplace, but give consumers a choice to choose products that are designed specifically to help address health at the cellular level.
If you're fortunate enough to have good health now in your life, do yourself a favor and talk to somebody who doesn't have good health. And that will give you an appreciation and hopefully motivation for taking care of yourself today.
ASEA is what its name suggests, the pathway that may help support complete long-term wellness. Take control of your health and live your purpose.
On the screen, yeah.
Right now, I don't know if you can see it from your angle,
But on the live,
oh, it doesn't show.
Please try to get those up. If you want a quick link to all 4 of these, they're found many ways, but one place that's great is Deni put up a list of the 4 Vimeo links to the 4 different videos, and I'm finding that people that don't use it maybe don't know how to get on Facebook or that type of thing. It's really great to be able to email to them. So if you go to ASEA United, I believe that's in there, and you can get the link to all these.
and they're actually pinned right now at the top.
Great.
All right.
All right, Dick, go ahead.
So let's talk about whole food nutrition, because that is really the most important thing about the ASEA Via line. It is not synthetically manufactured in a factory to provide certain nutrients. It's actually a concentrated form of whole foods. You know, I like to, you know, doctors typically will tell you that health is just the absence of disease. I like the concept of wellness much better, and I describe that as a constant striving towards better health. And nutrition is a very important part of that. My first love is redox signaling molecules when it comes to ASEA, but I have been a nutritionist for years. I have a degree in preventive medicine and nutrition, and before ASEA Redox came along, that's what we had. We didn't have signaling molecules, and so we helped people maximize their health by providing an increased source of nutritional products. You know, just to kind of get you into the scheme of things and the terminology, you know, we have macronutrients and micronutrients. Macronutrients, we all get more than we need. That's carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. In case you haven't noticed it, we have an epidemic of obesity in this country because people are consuming too many macronutrients. But we also have epidemics of chronic disease, and much of that is because people aren't consuming the right quantity and quality of micronutrients. And then we have the concept of essential versus non-essential nutrients. Essential nutrients are those that you have to consume either in your diet or in your supplements because your body can't make them. There are some nutrients that your body needs that it can make from other, other ingredients in the food that you eat, but the essential ones, like the omega-3s, your body has to get them in food or in supplements. And many of you may be familiar with what we call the RDAs for micronutrients, the recommended daily allowance. I'd like to make a comment on that because RDAs are woefully inadequate in many ways. RDAs are as much a political statement as they are a scientific statement because a lot of politics, a lot of bickering goes into what is put in as an RDA. But a recommended daily allowance, you should look at that as a minimum amount of micronutrients, not as an optimal amount. There is no such thing as an optimal dietary allowance. Nobody has actually been able to come up with that, mostly because the scientists can't agree on what that figure actually is. But there is plenty of science out there that shows that there's around 30 micronutrients. The RDA just is not enough. What do these micronutrients do? They help your body make enzymes. They help your body make hormones. They help your body in the repair process. They actually make your cells healthy. And so they are absolutely essential. And what happens if you don't get enough of these micronutrients? You almost guarantee yourself of getting a disease of some sort at some time because it interferes with your cell's ability to function and to repair. So doesn't it make sense that if you can't assure that you're getting all of the micronutrients in your food because your food doesn't have the density? Nutritional density is another term that's important to understand, and that's a term that describes how much of these micronutrients are packed into superfoods like broccoli and cabbage and various things, various foods that we know should be dense in these nutrients, but oftentimes are not as dense as they were 40, 50 years ago for a number of reasons. And the best way, the absolute best way, and even most physicians would agree on this, is that the best way to get your micronutrients is in the food that you eat. The problem is that's almost impossible. You've heard the term a balanced diet. There are as many definitions for a balanced diet as there are people who have a definition. And it's very difficult to actually come up with, quotes, a balanced diet that will supply every micronutrient that you need in the quantities that science is showing is necessary for maximal health. Why? Well, if you go to the grocery store, there may be seasonal variations. There may be countries of origin where you're not so sure how those vegetables are raised. You're not so sure what chemicals might have been used on them. The other issue is the amount of food that you would have to eat to get the quantities of micronutrients that are necessary for maximal wellness would require you to eat way more food than you probably would want to. And now you'll start to get into problems with weight and that sort of thing, because our foods just don't have enough nutrition in them. So whole food-based nutritional supplements are the answer to that, because you get the benefits of all of the different micronutrients that are packed into that food in a way that our body recognizes them. A really good example of that might be vitamin C. You know, you can buy cheap vitamin C, ascorbic acid, synthetically made in a factory somewhere. It's really cheap, but our cells don't really recognize that as a source of vitamin C that it really wants to use. But if you concentrate vitamin C from a citrus fruit source, the cells will glom onto that and use it and just love it. So whole food-based nutrition is much more available. And bioavailability is really an important concept in this. And our ASEA via nutrients, whether it's Source or LifeMax or Biome or our new omega-3, one of their strongest points of importance is that they are bioavailable. And that really addresses one of the biggest reasons why many people will decline to take nutritional supplements, because they don't think they get into their body where they can be used. They think that it's just an expensive way to enrich the septic system, that it goes into one end and out the other. And to a certain degree, that's true if your supplements aren't food-based. But when you take a food-based micronutrient supplement, your body uses those micronutrients. And if you overshoot a little bit, that's just good insurance, because you don't know on a minute-to-minute basis what nutrients those cells need for functionality and for repair. So what is the Via Source is our foundation. That is a great general micronutrient source as a foundation product for your supplementation. LifeMax is for people with maybe a more active lifestyle. I think everybody over 35 or 40 should be on LifeMax, certainly over 50. If you're stressed, if you're a really energetic, active person, if you're doing any athletics, then LifeMax is certainly something that you want to take. And the Biome, it literally doesn't get any better than the ASEA's Biome. And we're learning more and more and more about how absolutely important the health of your gut is, not just to your gut, but to your overall health. And every one of the 16 different bacterial strains in Biome have been shown to improve your overall health in a number of different ways, in a number of outside science investigations. So let's talk a little bit about Via Omega. The omega-3s are essential polyunsaturated fatty acids. Remember, we talked about essential. What's essential mean? You have to get them in your diet or in your supplements. And unless you are a regular consumer of wild-caught, not farm-raised, but wild-caught oily fish like salmon, and I mean regular, you would need to be doing this a couple of times a week, you are not getting the amount of omega-3s that you need in your diet for your cellular health. It just is a fact of life. It is very difficult to get the omega-3s that you need from a totally plant-based diet. And I don't have time to go into the specifics of that, but it is difficult. Flaxseed is a common source of some of the omegas, the omega-6s, for example, and some of those can be converted to the omega-3s. It's a very inefficient process. So even if you're a vegan, this is one area where you might want to supplement with something that comes from wild-caught salmon. EPA, what does that do? That's one of the 2 omega-3s. And I'm not even going to pronounce the word because you'll never remember it. It's hard to say. But it decreases inflammation and improves mood. These have all been shown in independent scientific research. DHA is probably the most important because it is really important for brain health, heart health, and liver health. And one of the main reasons, I'll get into it a little bit more here, is that your brain and your nervous system has a lot of fat in there as a structural component. Your brain has a really high lipid component, and 40% of that is DHA. So if you're not supplying enough DHA to your body, and especially if younger children during the developmental phase aren't getting enough DHA, their brain and their nervous system will not develop and will not stay as healthy as it can. And supplementing with DHA, omega-3s, has a brain protective effect in aging. Why? Because we found that supplementing with DHA maintains the energy production in your cells. Remember, we've talked about mitochondria and ATP. Well, the omega-3s are very important in maintaining that energy production in your brain, in your heart, in your liver, in any part of your body that needs to be functioning at a high level, whether you're asleep or awake. It has to be working all the time. And so these omega-3s do have a neuroprotective effect. And even on our label, the FDA has allowed us to put a statement on there saying that supplementing with omega-3s, largely through the DHA effect, can possibly decrease the risk of coronary artery disease because it can possibly lower your blood pressure. Now, all of those possiblies are scientifically founded. It's just that the FDA sometimes has a little bit of a problem allowing supplements to make claims that they sort of reserve for drugs. There is even a pharmaceutical source of omega-3s. I just saw it advertised on the TV last night. I've looked into that, and it has nothing on what we have here from ASEA. The only thing it has is a higher price tag, a much higher price tag, and possibly your insurance company might pay for it if you can talk your doctor into writing a prescription. So the medical industry is finally starting to recognize that yes, some micronutrients are worthy of supplementation, but where are they going for that supplementation? They're looking to drug companies. We have answers far ahead of what the drug companies have on nutritional supplementation. And nutritional micronutrient supplementation can change your life in ways that nothing else can. Some specific things about Via Omega that aren't necessarily in ASEA's literature, but some things that I found is that supplementing with omega-3s has a protective effect on your mitochondria. And if you know anything about mitochondria, you know that you can't exist without them. They provide the energy for your cell. And what else do mitochondria provide to us? Redox signaling molecules, right? Now we can supplement with those, but it's also a very good idea to protect your mitochondria, and supplementing with omega-3s has been found to do that. I'm kind of surprised that ASEA didn't mention this in their literature, but there was a recent study done, and it was on over 100,000 people. So it was done based on dietary surveys on over 100,000 people over a 16-year time period. That kind of information is pretty sound. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. Thousands of people over 16 years. And what they found was that the people in that study, those 100,000 people, the people who consumed the most omega-3 rich foods and or supplements had a 10% decrease in all causes of death. That is something that is huge. And there are very few things that you put into your mouth that we could make the claim that it decreased all-cause mortality by 10% in both men and women. So in other words, the people in that study who ate the most oily fish or took omega-3 supplements died 10% less of any cause. Heart, brain, whatever, any cause, their risk of mortality was decreased by 10%. It's important to maintaining our energy production in our brain, our heart, our liver. The omega-5, which comes from pomegranate seeds, has an anti-inflammatory effect, but it's also really good for skin and hair. So hopefully you're starting to see some of the synergistic things here, because what does our Renew do for our skin? Great things, right? Wrinkles, blood flow, all those kinds of things. Our Life Max is beneficial for our skin. It increases collagen production. And now we've got an ingredient in our Omega product that is beneficial for maintaining healthy skin and healthy hair. What's one thing that happens as we get older? We start to lose our hair, right? Well, we start to grow it in places we don't want it sometimes. The places where we want it sometimes, it doesn't like to grow. I'll tell you, in the 7 years I've been on ASEA, I have a lot more hair on my head and a lot more color. It used to be all pretty much gray.
Boy, howdy, is that ever true?
Another thing about the ASEA Omega product is it comes from wild-caught salmon, not farm-raised salmon. Now, why is that important? Well, wild-caught salmon happen to eat algae and sea nutrients. Farm-raised salmon eat fish food, and that's usually from corn or some other synthetic source. It is not from a healthy food source. Wild-caught salmon are the omega-3s, the omega-6s, etc. in wild-caught salmon are much healthier because they're made from a natural diet of wild fish. The other thing that's important about the omega-3s for a lot of people, I've never really noticed this problem, but do you ever notice if you buy a fresh fish and it's been in your fridge for a while, it starts to get a little fishy smelling? That's because it's getting oxidized. It's rusting, essentially. Well, the same thing happens to fish oils. And so some people have avoided fish oil supplements in the past because of that taste, that smell, the fish burps. Well, what's interesting is because of the freshness of the source of the fish oil that ASEA uses, it has a very low oxidation score. It's called TOTOX, total oxidation, and it doesn't have that fishy odor, that fishy taste or smell, and so you won't get that obnoxious fish burpy thing after you eat it. So that should help people who have wanted to take a supplement like this, but for whatever reason didn't enjoy that part of it. So it is a very well put together supplement, just like the other via sources are Source, Life Max, Biome. I would absolutely recommend that you put this on your shopping list. And right now, if you buy 3 or more of any of ASEA via supplements, you get $10 off of each one. So if you buy 3 omega-3s, you get $10 off of each of those. If you buy a Source, a Life Max, and an Omega, you get $10 off each one of those, in I believe unlimited quantities. So now's the time to stock up on your ASEA Via products, and especially to get some of this Omega supplement, because it is a very important addition to what we already have. And it's a home run, just like the others, it's a home run on a number of different scales of excellence in ways that your generic omega-3 fish oil supplements are just not necessarily going to have. So it is a great way to supplement with omega-3s, and this is something that everyone should be adding to their supplement base, unless you're a fisherman and you catch a lot of wild salmon and you eat it a couple times a week. So, do we have time for questions? I didn't look at it.
Yeah, we do. We're good.
Any, we have a little bit of time. Yeah, we got about 7 minutes. We're sort of on schedule here, so, yeah.
Should these VIA products be refrigerated?
What's that?
Refrigeration, should we?
You don't have to refrigerate them. I wouldn't sit them in the hot sun,
Yeah.
but you don't necessarily have to refrigerate them.
The ASEA, the Omega, if it does get a little warm and they stick together in the bottle, just shake it and they'll come apart and it's no damage to the product.
Thank you.
When I'm sharing with other people about supplements, and people seem to think they know what they should be taking in. Oh, well, I have my pharmaceutical grade, or my chiropractor, or my this or my that, and they have their special, which that's normal that we're gonna be encountering that. So what can I say that's gonna set ours apart from everybody else's, or they get it, Costco or wherever?
Right.
Would you reiterate that question?
Yeah, the question is, when you're talking with somebody who already is taking supplements, and they feel that theirs, for whatever reason, may have some benefits or strengths that ours don't, like pharmaceutical grade or whatever, I would say that ASEA really hits on all of those issues. It is pharmaceutical grade, but the thing that I would hit most on is the fact that it is whole food based and it is bioavailable. And there are other supplements out there that may have higher quantities of certain micronutrients in, but if they don't get into your cells, it doesn't count. And even getting from your gut into your bloodstream is step number one. Getting from your bloodstream into your cells is oftentimes a difficult step. And ASEA pays attention to not only are these absorbed into your body, into your blood, but are they absorbed, do they get into your cells? And that oftentimes is a difficult step. And that's where food-based supplements are really well ahead of a supplement that's synthetically made or with a variety of ingredients that are not whole food based. And so ASEA has done everything that we know of technologically to make this available to your cells. And so that's what I would tell people, is this is a highly bioavailable supplement, and it's whole food based, and then talk to them about why that's important. And I would just ask them, is yours whole food based? Is yours, just ask them some questions to find out how much they really know about what they're talking about and what their nutritionals actually contain.
Isn't it true that if you add one of these VIA products, ASEA VIA products, to 100 PV order, that you also get a $10 off of your ASEA VIA?
Yes.
The question was, is if you add a VIA product to an order of at least 100 PV, will you get that $10 off? And the answer is yes.
Is it worthwhile to split the amount you take throughout the day, like morning and evening, or is it okay to just take it all at once? What does that look like?
The question is, should you take your nutritionals throughout the day, or can you take them once a day? And generally speaking, your body needs nutrition all day long. So it just makes sense to split it up throughout the day. One thing with a fat-soluble vitamin like the omegas, it's going to be better absorbed with a meal that has some fat in it. So omegas are probably going to be better absorbed if you take it with food, or if you have a snack that has some fat in it. But it is better to spread your nutrients throughout the day, and certain ones are better to be taken with food, and that's one of the main reasons for that.
Thank you. Does the omega have both omega-3 and omega-6, or is it just omega-3?
It has omega-3s. It does not have, omega-6s are something that we get plenty of in our diet, and most omega-6s just get burned up for fuel. So you don't need to supplement with omega-3s. Our supplement has some 5s and 7s, which have been shown independently to do certain things. I think I covered that. But not omega-6s. You don't need to supplement with omega-6. That's mostly just an energy source.
I've got a question about biome. I've heard different things. I've heard people say taking 3 of those before they go to bed. Do you know, is there an optimal time for the biome?
I believe biome is recommended to take at bedtime. But again, I don't think that's crucial. But that's when we take our biome. We have it sitting right by the bedside, partly so we don't forget to take it. And I quite frankly, Grant, I can't tell you that I know specifically why the company recommends that in the evening. Perhaps it's so that it doesn't get in your gut with a bunch of other food in there. But again, the most important thing with all of these supplements is that you take them. And let's say you get to the end of the day and you've forgotten to take your supplements that day. It may not be ideal to take them all at once at the end of the day, but it's probably better than not taking them at all, because your body will extract as much of that nutrition as it can whenever you take them. So, Nancy?
I have a question from Facebook. Someone that's watching, can you comment on DPA?
DPA?
There's EPA, DHA, and DPA.
I'm not sure what there's EPA and DHA, and I'm not sure what that is, what that terminology.
Right, well, I know very little, but I know that it's part of the omegas, and it's something that we don't need very much of. We need quite a bit less. It's not as important as the EPA and the DHA.
Yeah, it's probably a subfraction of one of those. There are a number of omegas, and there's a lot of research out there on what we actually need. I'm pretty confident that if we needed to supplement that with that ASEA would have that in there, but I don't know specifically.
Just one point of clarification from the medical committee. Why do you take biome in the evening? Their comment was really that you take biome with food. And the reason is that when they had large colony sources of probiotics, which is the general norm across the field, is that they can be uncomfortable in your gut with all of that bioactivity, and you're better off when you take it with food. Most of us here have never had any distress taking biome compared to other products, and one of the reasons is that biome spreads 16 different varieties in smaller amounts of these biotic communities. You think of it as there's only so many places to live in there with 4.2 quadrillion other bacteria, and if you overload with huge amounts of 3 of them, you're throwing out the ability for everybody else to live in the neighborhood, and you just get lumped up. So what ASEA did was to say, no, let's back off into a much broader base of types and smaller populations, and it won't give you that gut distress, but it'll also give you much better coverage. But if you take it in the evening, the only real sense was take it with food, so you won't feel that. And then in our practical world, we haven't seen it.
So Jerry White was just saying that one of the main benefits to biome is that instead of having a huge number of colonies of 2 or 3 types of bacteria, ASEA has 16 different strains, so there's a much more balance in the bacteria that are being introduced, and all of them have been independently shown to help your health in specific ways: weight management, glucose management, brain health. So a lot of different ways, but also If you get any intestinal distress or gas or cramping when you're taking your biome without food, then try taking it with food, because that may ameliorate that. But there's no specific right way or wrong way that I'm aware of in taking your biome. We take ours in the evening.
One thing that I'd like to mention is if you are on an antibiotic for some reason, then you do not want to take your biome at the same time. It will not be effective. I had a personal experience when I started taking the biome 2 to 3 hours separate from the antibiotic. I had no distress from the antibiotic, and it was really nice.
And Marcia White just said that when you're taking an antibiotic, you shouldn't take the antibiotic at the same time that you take your biome. The other thing I would add to that is after you've taken a course of antibiotics, it's even more important that you take biome and maybe take extra to reestablish those healthy bacteria, which may and probably have been harmed by that antibiotic that you just took. Antibiotics are one of the main causes of disruptions in our normal intestinal flora, and this product can help reestablish that.
Would you take more biome only after you finish the antibiotic or while you're taking the antibiotic?
I would probably wait till afterwards and then just reestablish it afterwards.
I don't remember who I heard say this, so maybe you can confirm what was said. But I had heard that the molecules were so small in the vitamins that your body, your bloodstream was able to absorb them much easier, and that most of the products on the market today, you don't get the full benefit of their vitamins and minerals because the molecules are not small enough.
It's not so much that, it's just that, what molecules are there with those other nutritional molecules that help them to be absorbed and utilized. It's not so much the size of the molecule.
Okay.
Any other questions? Great. Well, the absolutely most important thing about nutritional supplements is that you take them regularly, and understand that ASEA products do different things than ASEA Redox. But when you combine the two together, you get total cellular health. You get the benefit of the redox signaling molecules and the benefit of the building blocks and the nutritional micronutrients that your body needs to thrive and to avoid disease. So use it or lose it when it comes to your health. You have to earn it. You've got to be proactive about your health.
Dick, in the multi, is there a bottle with that? How much vitamin C is in the stores? And so
I don't know.
that's
Most people during the cough and cold season are probably going to want to take more vitamin C. Vitamin C is primarily an antioxidant, but just if you're going to take extra vitamin C, then make sure you take an organic type vitamin C, not cheap ascorbic acid. Any other? Cool, good.
All right, I just warn you, you're gonna get we're gonna do one more little short segment, and then we're gonna let you get up and move. Okay, so hang with me here. One of the other things that was, how did you undo this from here, or? There we go. Sorry, here. Okay, Jerry, do you have your clicker? Where are you? I heard your voice around here.
Yeah, I'll be right here.
Right here, one of the, oh, Dick's got his.
That's fine. You'll have to plug the
Thing from yours?
Yeah.
This big old thing? Isn't that a flash drive? This thing?
That thing did?
Yeah, that thing right there.
The big thing?
Yep.
Oh.
If you got a spot to push, to plug it in on yours.
I do. All right. Okay, one of the really exciting things that came out at convention was our ASEA Connect app. The world is getting more cellular. Some of us are fighting that about having to use our phones. I prefer a computer myself, but I'm learning. And we can all learn to use our phones, get a bigger phone screen if you need. But the ASEA Connect app is going to make your life so nice. Even this old dog is learning some new tricks. So what we're going to do today is just go over real quick, give you some information about what it is, and then where you can go out and find how to learn it, how to use it. But it really is quite fun. All these videos that you're seeing, you can pull up on your phone if you're with a friend. You can pull up a phone and just send it right, or you meet somebody and you get in the car, pull up your phone, and send that video to them right away for them to get to view, get home, follow up with a call. It makes it so slick and so easy. You don't have to wait to get home, forget to get your computer out, forget to send that, you've lost their email, whatever. You can just do it right there while it's all fresh in your brain. Well, we'll push the button here. Did it move? No. Oh, there we go. All right. Also within this Connect app is a thing called ASEA Share Micro app. You can find this micro app in your ASEA Connect on your phone, or if you're, yes, oops. Or if you are home, you can go to www.aseashare.com, or if you have your computer with you in a coffee shop and you want a bigger screen, you can go to that site and share there. In this site, it is designed for you to be able to have all the tools with you right there to do a mini presentation. And I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on that, but you can go in and play with it. It's really fun. You can, if somebody wants to see a lifestyle video and you're right there, you can pull up one of them. There's some great ones on there. Go in there, play with it. You can't kill anything. Once you're in the site, you're not going to kill your computer. Push all the buttons you want, and you can always get back on these new sites. You do need to learn a new thing. On our on our back office, there's the 3 lines that mean menu, a hamburger menu, and you click on that. On the ASEA Connect or the ASEA Share site, it's a little A. It's the ASEA A, the trademark. That's going to be for your menu. So new thing, you've got to teach these old dogs. So you're going to always go back to those. Let's see if I can do this changing it. Okay, your ASEA Connect trainings. There's Zoom calls that you can get on that are live and interactive. You can get your phone out, take a picture if you'd like real quick. Even those of you on Facebook Live, you can take a screenshot if you need to get those numbers real quick. And those are wonderful, coming up with all the new things, because there's constantly new things to come out. Don't watch everyone, because remember, you want to be doing your above-the-line activities that are business building. You don't want to spend all your time, if you only have 5 hours a week to spend on ASEA, don't be spending them all on a training. Get your upline to give you the condensed version, because you only have so many hours in a week, and it's more important to be contacting people, taking people to meetings, those types of things, than spending hours learning how to use ASEA Connect. The ASEA Connect trainings too, if you can't make them live, there's other places you can find them. You can find little modules, or if you're short on time, you can just watch a little bit while you're doing the dishes or something and multitasking at any one of those places. The ASEA Connect Facebook page, it says ASEA Connect, used to be ABC Genie or something like that is the name of the page. And you can go there and get some little tidbits.
Yes.
Oh yeah, and then this is a frequently asked questions. A lot of you, if you have a question, you can just save time, scroll down the document, find your question, find your answer, instead of trying to watch a whole hour training or a half-hour training and using that much time in your day. ASEA Connect is here to make our jobs easier. It is not here to be a distraction for you to stay away from prospecting, going out, meeting people, and being face-to-face with people. And finally, for those of you who would like to play with your ASEA Connect, is anybody in here not on ASEA Connect on their phone yet? Do you not have the app? Or does everybody have the app? Anybody not have the app?
If you
There's a
don't,
few
during the
people.
break, we can help you
Yes.
guys do that.
And what we're gonna do is you will help you, that's why we're having a break right after here. It's real simple, you just go to your phone, look for the little, looks like a picnic bench to me, but that's the App Store. You're gonna click on that, write in the words on the search bar, ASEA Connect, and it will come up. What you're gonna see when that comes up is something that looks like this. You're gonna log in, just using your same login you do on your back office. You can use either your ID number or your username, and then your same password. You don't need to reinvent the wheel, so that's really nice. If you forgot your password, notice it says right there, forgot my password, same as your login site on your back office. And then these are some of the things you're going to be able to do. You'll be able to watch videos, share them with people. It's really a neat thing to do if you need to, but remember, don't learn it by yourself and take hours and hours learning this. If you get in there, find your grandson or your son or whoever is techie and have them show you through it really quick, and then it'll be really useful for you. Yes?
So where do you find the mini app at?
The mini app is going to be embedded in your ASEA Connect, or on your computer. You can go, or even on your phone, you can go to ASEAShare.com. And you'll
So you
find
don't
it.
do it through this app?
You can do it through this app also, and you'll find it in the library.
In the library, okay.
Yeah. All right, and there is our ASEA Connect in a nutshell. We're gonna let you get up. You got about 5 minutes, 10 minutes max to wiggle around. If you do not have the Facebook, or not the Facebook, the Connect app on your phone, I think it would be a really wise time for you to find a neighbor that does have it, or I can help you. Some of us can help you get that on your phone.
Tell everyone here to take a break, and we'll be back shortly. Marcia?
Oh, we're gonna take a break right now. We will be back in 10 minutes, ready to go again. Thanks for joining us.